Welcome back, guys. Another episode of the Suited Kings podcast. Wes, you're looking real ugly today. Why
You
is
know,
that?
you know what? That is just some bullshit. Because I was actually going to say, "You're looking handsome, Max." I was going to go that route,
I can, I don't know why, but
but
something about attacking you out of the gate just makes me happy. I can't explain it.
I mean, I can see it. Your face is just
Uh,
it's the biggest smile I've ever
we
seen.
were chatting for about a half hour before we hit the record button, and I was, I've been kind of down, maybe seasonal depression. I don't know what it is, but just that second of that, like, turn the record button on and just talk shit to you
Yeah.
immediately just got me lit up, man.
Wes, you're ugly. You're nothing. You're nothing, dude.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here recording another episode with you. So tell me, Wes, you last week was it that you were down in Florida, is that right?
I was, yeah.
What were you
Um,
playing down there? Seminole Hard Rock, something or
yep.
other?
Yeah, so there was a $400 2 million guarantee.
That's
Fired a few
juicy.
bullets there. Yeah, did not bag. Played one bullet of an 1100 and a 600 and did not cash those either.
How do you
Um,
not beg in the oldest of old man withered tournaments?
that's a good question.
How many you fired
It
for in
was
that thing?
yeah, or actually no, it was three and then one in a different in a 1 day 400. So,
Well,
anyways,
if it makes you feel any better, I'll let you continue a second. I also dusted and did not make day two in the MSPT. So
I did not realize you played an MSPT. I remember there was a cheap and deep, right?
oh, cheap and deep. Yeah, did I say
Okay,
MSPT? Okay,
all
yeah,
right.
cheap and deep. Excuse me. Yeah, I think I
You know,
fired
I wish you had
3 into
bricked an
that.
MSPT because that's more money out of your pockets.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, the cheap and deep, thankfully, is cheap.
Yep, it
Yeah,
is.
I dusted that. I can't even. I feel like that was years ago at this point. So we actually took last week off. We appreciate your guys' patience. It was Thanksgiving, spend time with our family. So had a nice little break there. And Wes, continue back to where you're at, Florida.
Yeah, so ironically, I I think Sunday, Monday, Tuesday I played a little online and I made like 6,100, so it was like it was a profitable stretch of time in poker, but obviously the online can be done without going to Florida.
Was that on
Um,
clubs?
some of it was,
Okay.
some of it was on some other sites.
That we
Um,
will not speak of,
yeah,
for
we
their
don't
name is
speak
in
of
vain.
them. They
That's
don't
awesome.
exist except for sometimes,
I feel
but
like you're the king of going. It's like traveling for live poker, dusting it all, and then making more than that back online.
I've it's weird. I've had a lot of those, maybe not tons, but like there are several that stand out to me where I remember uh and my buddy Paul Carney makes fun of me for this kind of not even making fun, but I remember there's this trip where he made a deep run in MSPT and I think I
That's
busted.
unheard of. That's not real. That's
Well,
you're
it
fibbing.
was like a 13th place, you know.
Mm. Oh, that's yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
that
and
makes
he I
more
think he
sense.
was chip leader coming to day 2. So it was like it was like a
Hold on,
painful
back to the story. I'm chip leader. No, no, no,
yeah.
no. Sorry, Carney. We love you, brother.
Um,
Um,
anyway, so I remember I busted 3 times, but then I played some online and won like 4 or 5K. And it's just always a thing where I don't know. Last year, I remember I busted once or twice, and I had just been texting him, and I'm like, "Yeah, didn't bag today." And he's like, "This is the part where you tell me you're up 9 grand in online cash games, right?" And
yeah.
you know,
And you're like, as
um,
a matter of fact, I am.
and ironically, that was also when I went on that WPT cruise earlier this year, that's what
Yep.
happened.
Okay.
And obviously, I've had some success in live tournaments in the past, but this year the live tournaments just haven't been there for me. Online has still been solid the whole way through, but when you're down in live tournaments instead of, ripping off a couple big scores, it makes a big difference.
Well, a great point, Wes. And so we do have some good strategy content for you today, but I figured, well, let's start off the episode today with a little bit of how we've been feeling lately. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
We
I
were
mean,
yeah, we
you're
were just kind of chatting before this, and I feel like we both kind of realized, whether it's just the weather getting cold or whether we're just a little burnt out from stuff. It's like,
Or it getting dark at 4:30 PM.
yeah,
Just seasonal
yeah.
depression has kicked in a little bit for me personally.
Yeah, and it could be that for me, like, that's I don't know, I've always historically, if I've felt that, it's been more like in February or March when the winter has been going on for a while and it's kinda gotten, too
Yeah,
long
you're
in a
tired
way.
of it at that point. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Yep, yeah.
because in a way, we also realized, you know, I went skiing, you went snowboarding yesterday, like, we're both kind of excited for that part of the
Not
winter.
even together, and we didn't I was
Yeah.
like, "What'd you do yesterday?" He's like, "I went skiing." I was like, "Oh, I went snowboarding."
Yeah. I just
That's
figure that, you know, almost everybody I know is gonna be working during the middle of the day, and even though you have a somewhat different work schedule than the average person,
I'd say very.
you're always busy, like, just, you know
I'm always doing a million things. However, snowboarding is one of my top of the list type of things to do, so I can definitely move things around. You just holler and we'll go rip, but
hey, sounds
I
good.
I feel you on that, and, and for you, it's a little bit different because you had such an incredible last year live where, I mean, it was like a 400K year or something like that. I don't know exactly, but something like
Right,
that.
yeah, it was on Hendon Bob, it was like 420K. I mean, I there was some stuff I had sold action for, whatever,
Well, right, and I'm not ta we're
yeah,
just talking in terms of, like, your gross, we'll say, your gross
yeah,
income.
yeah, and, I'm not gonna, like I won't go into what I sold for and whatnot, but it was still a very, very good year financially for me,
Yeah,
and for
nice
just
lucrative
poker
year.
success, I felt great about everything.
Well,
Uh,
Wes, you've taken a little bit of a reality slap to the face, my friend, and not in a
yeah,
bad sense. I mean, it's not like you're. It's funny because poker is such a weird thing. Like you had such an incredible last year, and then this year's been. I mean, while it's been great for you online, live it definitely hasn't been as lucrative as last year for you, and it makes you wonder, right? Like for you, you've been a professional for what, 2 years now, 3 years?
3 yeah, it's, that World Series that was in the fall in 2021, that's when I became like, officially had quit my job.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd been taking it pretty seriously for a while leading up to that, but
yeah.
yeah, officially 3 years and a couple months.
And for those listening, like when we say professional, it's we're not talking about your actual skill level. We're talking about this is what you do for your primary source of income.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, I'm still terrible. No,
Yeah, exactly. But you had two incredible first years.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
the
that
2 first full years were
and now you
very
finally
good.
got to see what variance can kind of look like when it's not always going your way. Not that, I mean, you've obviously had
Yeah,
ups and downs in between them, but this year more so than the others. And I've gone through that a few times now, and
mhm.
it doesn't motivate you by any means.
Yeah, but it's also good to just hear that coming from you, and it's obviously something I know, and I've had variance online before, and actually, I know just looking at my results, I've had a better year online this year than last year, but as we kinda know, like, for the most part, the big wins happen live.
Yeah.
There aren't
Yeah.
nearly as many big tournaments online, and yeah, it's sort of your year can look really good or really not good if depending on a few of those live runs and how they go. And yeah, it totally I was, thinking about how I do feel a little bit burnt out in a way. I don't know.
It's hard when you're feeling burned out. How does that, like, affect your wanting to play the game? Like, do when you're feeling burned out a little bit and, to be honest with listeners, I'm also feeling a little burned out. That was kind of what our conversation was ahead of this. It's not that, like, burnout happens to everybody first off, so take that as you will, but, like, it's hard to get motivation to play, and not only to play, but to play your absolute best when you do play. And what is that like for you right now? Are you not like when you sit down because this is your primary source of income, whereas I
Right.
have, I do real estate, I work for Medtronic, I play poker, do all these
Mhm.
different things. So I have, for me, variety is the spice of life. I can get away easier than someone like you can. What is
Right.
that like
Yeah.
for you right now?
Well, it's weird. I had this thought last night where I'd played some tournaments, and one of I actually got third in this like big 44 on ACR. It made it a good session, but I
Yep.
was done. I played like 5 global tournaments and I just busted them quickly. And so I was like at I was at this final table of the 44 at 9 p.m. or something. And there's still tournaments I would normally register. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like focus on this final table. And I don't know if I'm feeling like a full session, right? Because during the weekdays, a full tournament session might be like, depending, it could be like starting between 5 and to 7 p.m. and the last, one that I registered could be around 11, which means that like if I make a deep run, I could be playing in the tournaments till 1 or even 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it right now.
Yeah, yeah. I've
And
related with that actually, like I told you earlier, I my last session online was on Sunday. I haven't played for the last few days. And it's just because I hadn't wanted to necessarily, you know what I mean? And Sunday, like I had a couple of I was in a couple at that point. I had just like you had a couple ones I was planning kind of to register, that would
mhm,
go later into the night. And you know what? I was like, I'm just gonna stick with these ones and then just call it a night after they're done, just because I didn't have that hunger and I didn't
mhm.
want to just splat. You know, what I mean, like when I was younger, or in my poker career, I would just fire whatever, whenever, no matter how I was feeling. And as you get older and do that enough and just start burning money, like you realize it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. It's you gotta pick your spots, both from a game selection standpoint. Like I'm not gonna just, sit around and play online cash games with only pros,
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah,
also from a you're selecting the times when you're ready to play. And I'm not like I'm certainly not saying, especially as a pro, it's like I'm not gonna say like, oh, I need to be 100%. Like I think anyone when they go to work on any given day, there are gonna be days where they feel great and days where they're like,
yeah,
I'll push through, but I still gonna go do it. But from a more macro level, more bird's eye view, it's like if there's a period of time where I'm a little bit, yeah, just not as zoned in. Yeah, maybe, not doing those super long sessions, or maybe just having days where I'm not playing, or maybe it's the sort of thing where maybe I want to take a few weeks off.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think I was actually kind of contemplating that after this summer because I had been on a downswing going into the summer, and the summer, Vegas didn't help that by any means.
Which is
And
normal. Like you can't even, you know, what I mean, like not having a losing summer in Vegas is the standard.
yeah, and it's like, especially you're playing these large field tournaments, it's hard to
Right.
really make a deep run, a really deep run where it means something.
Right.
But
Where you win a X factor of buy-ins. Yeah.
yeah, and so but after the summer, I took like 2 days off, I feel like, and I just got back into it for one because I was like, it doesn't feel good to just go out at the low point in a way. And there's a part of me that was like, God, I need to, like, am I just, what's going on? Like, I need to feel good about my game again. And, August through November, my online results were good. I've been profitable. I've been, you know, like,
Right. Yeah. But
it's
have you
been
been
going well.
hungry? But have you been hungry? Like, have you
I,
had a desire to play, or are you just playing because that's how you make money?
a little of both. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
saying it's like the way I was when it was brand new, but I certainly, I was excited to play most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially because the results started coming back. And well, two things. So one thing that I did at the start of, like, right after coming back from Vegas, there's your
Junior.
cat,
Yeah. Yeah.
just as
Always in the
always.
way. Yep. Go ahead.
Um,
As you're coming back.
yeah, so I one thing I did was I just played like low stakes. Like I would play 50 cent $1 cash online, and I would even play like some 11s and $22 tournament. Basically, my idea was like, I'm not planning on just coming out of this downswing immediately, right? Because it was a pretty good chunk of change. But I'm like, you know what? I just want to focus on the decisions, and I want to like remind myself that I'm good at this. And so those low stakes, I just started crushing, and then
You
very
took the
quickly,
right route. Yeah. Yeah.
very quickly, I got back to my normal stakes, and I just I had a good 4 months, and so right now it's sort of like, okay, I've had a 4 month stretch where I've made good money. Doesn't mean I made good money on the year, but like the last 4 months have been
Recovered.
quite good, especially truly like the fact that I haven't had a real live score in there. Like even in this 4 months, I'm still down from live tournaments. Like
Yep.
it's been, that means my online has been like very good,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
compared to how my past, you know,
Yep.
online performance has been. But now I'm sort of in the spot where it's like, okay, I've proven to myself like I still got it. Like I'm still very like good and capable at this game. Um, and so I sort of took this deep breath. It's like, oh, okay. So the worst feels like it's over, even though I haven't had that big like live score to really, um, you
Yeah.
know, to
Yeah. To
and yeah,
juice
it's
you, to get you juiced.
right, right. And so it's like, oh, do
Well,
I,
finish your thought.
yeah, how am I feeling? I mean, honestly, I do still really enjoy the game mostly, but I think I'm like, would it be ideal for me to honestly, here's what's going to happen is at some point within the next few days, I'm going to like, I have a couple natural built-in days off anyways, just because of other stuff, but um, maybe starting next, well, we got Vegas next week,
Yes, we
but
do. We'll get into
but
that.
probably like right after that, I'll just start taking days off. And one thing you had said before we started recording is like in the past when you've set some time for yourself to take off, maybe a weekend you'll really want to play again, but then you'll say no, I'm still on a break, and it sort of builds the anticipation even more.
Yep.
And so in
Yeah.
the past what I've done is I've like maybe taken 2 days off, and then on day 3 I'm like, okay, I'm ready, and then I'll just play.
Yep.
But maybe I'll give myself like, okay, let's say the first 2 times that I really feel like playing, I'm still not going to. And then if it's like 3 days in a row, then I'll be like, okay, like let's get into it. So maybe I'll do it in a way where I'm not taking a set amount of time off, but just like waiting to really feel it again. And then maybe first time I'll just say, no, you're taking time off. Second time I'll be like, okay, you're going to study a little bit. And then
Yeah. I,
the third time it happens, I'll play,
I like to call it poker fasting. I just made that
Mhm.
up, by the way.
Yeah.
But
That's honestly a great way to put it.
yeah. So, and what I mean by that is like for when what I was telling Wes and what he was just mentioning is that in the past, what I've done is I'll say I have a night where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, I'll typically log in and play online or go play a live tournament. I will skip that night, even though I wanted to. And what that's doing is it's building an appetite, right? It's like
Mhm.
I wanted to play, but I'm pushing myself back from it. Then again, I do it again a few nights, maybe 3, 4 nights, maybe sometimes even 2 weeks. Like, there's been, along those 2 weeks where I'm just, like, saying, "No, I'm not gonna play poker even though I want to." I'm building my appetite so that after my break is done, I come back in excited for it. I'm ready for it. I find spots I typically wouldn't find. I'm not just on autopilot. I find when I grind a lot consecutively for a long time, I find autopilot a lot more frequently than when I take breaks. Um,
Totally.
yeah, and so telling my, on nights even when I want to play, taking a break and not allowing myself, I build that appetite. I come back in, and I find that I succeed more. I've
Mhm.
well, it's you can might be variance, it might be whatever it is, but I find myself with better results that way personally. So doing that's important. And one other thing I wanted to touch on was you this summer, like I saw kind of how you were feeling. You've been playing your normal, 1100s and things like that and bigger buy and live tournaments throughout the entire year and hadn't had any big scores like which you'd had, a bunch over the past couple of years before that. And then Vegas kind of finished and nothing happened. Well, you'd said that you took a step back and you started playing smaller tournaments, not I wouldn't say micros, but like lower buy-in tournaments and stuff like that. And you started
Yes.
killing it in these smaller fields again, which in turn brought your confidence back.
Yeah.
And I saw how that changed you over that last month. Like your attitude from end of Vegas to the next 2 months after that, after you started kind of crushing low stakes again, you pushed your ego aside, you stepped back in stakes, not because that your bankroll dictated that, but because you wanted to
Right.
build your confidence, and you did just that. Like, you started having success again, and then that started bleeding through into your higher switching back into bigger buy-in tournaments, so
Yeah, and it did make poker fun again because so much of
and it made it
why I
fun
was like
again.
it did,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, the and I think that's what's I'm sort of thinking about right now too is like this spring, summer, like, yeah, I might have felt burnt out, but it's hard for poker to be fun when you're losing a lot. I've actually been winning a lot recently, like in a relative sense at least, and it's like, okay, if it's going pretty well and I'm feeling burnt out, that might be actual burnout, you know?
yeah, yep.
Um, and yeah,
Well, and that's what you're experiencing, isn't it? Like, it's not even
yeah,
going bad, you're not even on really a downswing. I know, even though we've
no,
talked
not
about
at
live, but,
all.
like, online's
Yeah.
been great for you, but it's when you sit behind that computer or when you sit at the live table, are you excited? Are you absolutely 100% so happy to be there? Is that the only thing you would wanna be doing? And a lot of times when I sit at tables, yes, I'm like, I love poker, I wanna be here. And when you're in burnout, that's just not there. And it kind of bleeds into the podcast as well. Like, I'm like, all right, well, we got to record today. You know what I mean? Whereas when
Right,
I'm
yeah,
when I'm loving poker, I'm like, man, I'm ready to talk like about this. I just love it then. And so, this happens with everything in life. It's not just poker. It's anything that you do in excess. You're gonna burn out from naturally. So I think it's really important to recognize how you're feeling about it and then react to that.
definitely. Yeah, and my last thought about what I might do is like it might be a sort of thing where I'm sort of taking off my weekdays and it's like, okay, let's get really excited for that Sunday grind because that's where the biggest results are going to be, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's another. Yeah, there are a lot of ways you can go at it and it's as someone who this is my source of income, I am a professional, like I do it does, obviously I need to make money, but also like I don't need to like to the sense where I can't just like take a chunk of time off, but also
Mhm.
it's like, well, if it's the sort of thing where I'm going to take a bunch of time off, I would really want to think about that too. Um, but
Yeah.
I guess I don't really foresee myself wanting to take off like months.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah.
that
I
would
mean,
be
that's a little crazy.
right, yeah.
But, I mean,
But
if even
also,
if go ahead.
oh yeah, luckily I can, you know, yeah, I have a cool boss, he'll understand if I want to take off a few weeks or a week or two.
And, maybe one other thing I might wanna mention is even if you don't end up taking time off, for the time you're not so say you're gonna continue your nightly online schedule,
Mhm.
do stuff you enjoy during the day more frequently. Don't just sit inside and be a bum. Like, you and I
Mhm.
foresee a lot of, not you specifically,
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but, I see a lot of or you and I going out and riding the slopes a lot this winter. Just get
Yeah.
out there and get excited about life in general. You know what I mean? Like, find other things that make you happy and let that translate into success in poker.
Mhm.
'Cause
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we have an episode, about mindset in poker, from probably like a year ago. I don't even know how long ago that was, but go check that out. That has a lot of insight into fixing the stuff we're talking about today. Wes and I are talking about, um, burnout in poker in general, and that doesn't mean we're gonna quit. We don't quit when you get to burnout. You just fix it, right? You take time
Mhm.
off, you find different avenues that make you happy. And one of the most important things, and which we're doing right now, is talking about it, opening up about it. Don't hide it. Don't get stuck in it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I just when you said the "don't be a bum" thing, I was like, "What? Is
Did
this
you feel
another
attacked?
Wes,
Did you
you're
feel
ugly,
attacked?
Wes, you're a bum."
Well, you are both of those
Yeah.
things, but
No, but the other thing I was thinking is that I remember that episode we did on it was like the mental whatever the first episode we did was on the mental side of poker or
yep.
life lessons, I think it
Life
was.
lessons learned in poker is the
I
episode.
remember we both really liked that one, and I think it's like our least listened to episode.
I mean, yeah, it's not like significantly. It doesn't have a significant amount of less views. However, that sounds weird, but anyways,
Downloads, yeah.
yeah, downloads. It's people. Yeah, go and listen to that episode. It's really good. Like those are important things. They really are important, but obviously it doesn't spark someone's excitement when they want to go in and crush a poker tournament. A lot of our listeners are like, I want to listen to some strategy based, energy, get me going type stuff before I go play a tournament. That's is a lot of our listeners. So they don't want to hear like, oh, don't go play poker, learn, this and
Right, yeah, take breaks,
that.
you
But
know,
it's very important. It
eat
is.
your vegetables, like, I don't think we said that, but
But do eat. No, I think we did.
maybe
Eat
we did.
healthy. Yeah, I think there's some
Yeah,
healthy eating in there. So maybe
yeah.
not vegetables, but broccoli's cracked, by the way. On a tangent, like
Did you
steamed
say
broccoli.
crack or crap?
No, it's crack. Like
Okay.
like like inject broccoli into my veins. I'm living high on it. I love broccoli.
Yeah. Steamed, yeah, actually steamed it is very good.
I don't even throw cheese on that shit. Just eat it. Just
Oh,
so
no, it's
good.
really good.
Oh my goodness, love it. But anyways, yeah. So guys, we just wanted to kind of start this episode off or give you a nice chunk on how we were feeling lately. I hope you guys can reflect on it, or if you're feeling similar, um, that maybe some of the stuff we've talked about has helped you maybe a little bit. So that's kind of the point of talking about it, just letting it out. But we do have some content today, and we've done an episode very similar to today's content. So in the past, we did a check raising from the big blind. Isn't that right? That was what
Mhm.
it was called? Something like that. Study sessions,
Yeah,
check raising from the big blind, something like that. Today, we're going to be talking about check raising from the field, and the field being every other position, right?
yep.
So we have a
Um,
couple of scenarios we're just going to discuss on spots where we'd like to check raise, and uh, yeah, should we go ahead and get into it, Wes?
yeah, let's do it. So I think the biggest thing to think about here is we're gonna mainly be looking at these multi-way spots. Because so for one thing, let's say we open from the low jack, right? If a blind is the only one in the pot with us, we're not gonna have a chance to check raise because we're last to act. So we gotta have like people in position against us calling. And I think check raising multi-way is going to be more common. Like we're gonna want to see bet less when it's a multi-way pot. Think of it that way. We're gonna just want to check more in general. So that in my mind, the way I look at that is that also means that the hands that we might instinctively feel like value betting, we should just also check those and either check call or check raise, kind of depending on the desire of us to get a bunch of chips in with the hand. So
Would the reason let me pause you for a moment. Would the reason being that you'd be checking instead of value betting in multi-way pots here is because even though we have maybe the most equity when it's multi-way, that equity is still not a lot.
right, yeah, we could have like I'm being kind of abstract here, but it's like, oh, if it's three-handed, we could have 40% equity, but that, that it's less than 50%, but it's still the plurality in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
And so
And by yeah,
there
go ahead.
can be some, so let's say, yeah, let's say we're four-handed, for example, and we open with two red queens and the flop comes jack nine, three, two spades.
Okay.
Um, Now, this is a board where even multi-way, I don't think I would hate c betting. We have an overpair. Apart from Jack nine, we're not really going to run into two pair. And from the field players, it's only going to be Jack nine suited. So
Yep.
like we're still going to be ahead a lot of the time here. But what if we have ace queen? What if we have, just like if we're heads up against the big blind, we'll probably see bet like king seven suited, but on this board, we're just gonna give that up, right? We're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
we're not gonna take a low equity bluff and just blast away.
yep.
So I'm going to check a lot here. And
With queens, you're saying on the jack high board
yep, with
with the
queens,
intention to check raise.
most likely, yeah.
Yeah,
And so
depending on what the action is, and after we've checked.
yeah, so and I don't know if I said this part, but just in my head, we're opening, we're getting a call from like the cutoff button and then the big blind. So we got two people still to act after us. And so
Yep.
that's another factor for me where if I have a hand that I want to put money in with right now, um, I am going to be more likely to check the more people there are behind me. And so let's say we started the hand 50 big blinds effective with everybody.
It's a good way to
We
balance, by the way. I just want to say.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
checking, like almost checking your entire range there. Just you're checking your shit and you're good, and you're oftentimes you're gonna have shit. But continue because your thought. Because I'm gonna get off on a tangent here.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, so I think queens here. So if we opened a little over two bigs pre-flop, the pot's going to be 10 blinds, give or take. If we check and someone bets like three or four big blinds in position, we can check raise to like, you know, 13 or something. Or if there's a caller, we can make it like 15, 16. We can put ourselves in a spot where we can go all in on the turn for value on a lot of turn cards. And it's going to make it so much easier to get it in with our value here, opposed to like, do we want to see bet really big? Like, I don't know, people might start folding stuff. Or, do we want to see bet small and just not build that much of a pot? Um, Obviously the downside to this is it could check through,
Right.
but
Right. Yeah, and
um
that's okay. I mean, truthfully, there's not. I mean, you are worried about I guess a decent amount of cards because it's multi-way. So everybody's gonna have multiple different types of draws or two pair draws or whatever it could be. Like they could have bottom pair, and then all of a sudden a what you think's a banana comes on the turn, and all of a sudden, like say what was the full
someone has a
board?
set,
Jack
Jack
nine
nine
deuce,
three.
Jack nine three. Yeah, no, or say it's like Jack nine three, and the turn's a five or something like that. All of a sudden, our opponent just has like Jack five suited from the big blind or something like that.
Totally.
And then we just
Um,
get and then we just lose. But anyways, tangents.
yeah. Yeah, it can certainly happen. And poker's all about risk and reward. And so checking on this flop is it does give us the risk of like having it check through. And it could even just be someone has ace seven of diamonds and they hit an ace on the turn, right? Like they would have easily
There could be
folded
a
the
lot of
flop.
ways. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I guess one thing we can toss back and forth here is this Jack 9-3 board. Let's say we check, and so scenario number one, cutoff bets, button calls, big blind calls. Let's say it was a four big blind bet and it goes call, call.
Okay.
Um, what it, what's your strategy here with queens? Are you just like, what's your raise size? Is there any argument for just going all in for your 50 big blinds here?
On the
Uh,
we're still on the same board, right?
Same board.
Jack nine three. And it's two spades as well, right?
Mhm.
I don't so it's four then two calls with four big so someone bets four big blinds, we get two calls behind with the four, so there's three more players
Yep.
essentially. Um I I don't do we have it's you said two red queens, right?
Yep.
I don't think jamming. I mean, jamming's okay because we're just denying equity and scooping up a rather large pot right away. But if we truly want to go for value and still just get it heads up, I think we could make it. How deep are we again?
So like 50 big blinds.
50 bigs for. I would love to see it like a raise to like probably like a little over 4x, like maybe like
17.
18, 17 big blinds. Yeah, and here's what that'll
Sure.
accomplish is it oftentimes maybe even a little larger now that I think about it, so we can set up an easy jam on the turn. I guess
Mhm.
even with that size, we can still set up an SPR that will set us up for a jam. But um, by making it a little bit larger, we still here's the thing: if we jam, we risk losing all of our value. Whereas if
Mhm.
we make it 18 bigs, um, our goal is to get one caller, which will fold out the other two, the extra 8 big blinds of dead money. Plus, all of a sudden, when they fold, that increases our equity in the hand.
Mhm.
So, and now we have a great turn jam size, depending on if some dangerous turns we might not jam, but we have a fish on the line as well, so we're more likely to get a double that way. I guess is my point.
Totally. Yeah,
Thoughts?
definitely. I Yeah, I was kinda thinking along that line, and then I was like, well, I would definitely do that if we were 70 or 80 bigs deep, but I was thinking if we have if we're putting in over a third of our stack here with our check raise, like 2 red queens is actually it's like such a strong value hand, and also it's like the most vulnerable of all the strong value we can have, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's
Um,
one pair with not I mean, with no back doors really, so
yeah, and if we jam, if someone has the nut flush draw, like they're still gonna go with it, but like they have we would almost like to get a fold from a flush draw with an overcard, right? We'd kind of prefer that.
I
But
agree. Yeah, yeah,
I
I do
I
agree with that.
I think the main question is, do we think someone with like King Jack is gonna come along, Jack 10 suited? And this might be, you might want to like read into your
My
player
answer is
types here.
yes. If you're playing the Canterbury 300, 150, 250, any of
And
those local Minnesota dailies, yes, they're coming along with King Jack. So just rip it.
yeah, so that's my thought then is if someone's not gonna fold a jack here, if we just go all in, let's just do that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I
Um,
think my play more so would be the way I described it, where we could check raise without
mhm.
an all in sizing would be good against um, tighter or what am I trying to say? Against better fields, I guess,
Sure, yep. Yeah, I think so too.
where people would fold king jack. The fields where people would fold king jack.
I agree with that. I think that would be a better play against, like, you or me
I was gonna
probably.
say a WSOP event, but also, yeah, exactly, because I would fold
Yeah,
king jack.
which are we talking about the 500? We talking about,
Yeah,
like, the Colossus or Gladiator? Like,
yeah, yeah,
just get all those chips in now while you still can. And
yeah.
and yeah, I think the fact that it's queens plays into it too, where if we have aces with a spade, it's a less vulnerable hand, and we actually if we can check raise small and get a hand like king queen or king 10 suited to call, they have less outs than they might think because hitting a pair is not going to be good for them.
Yeah.
With aces, maybe we do go smaller.
Doesn't it kind of
And
suck though? With queen, sorry, but back up to the queens because we block all the queen jacks, and then we also block the open enders, the queen tens.
yeah, we block a lot of like queen 10, king queen. And so maybe our opponents are more weighted towards flush draws and jack X, in which
Yeah,
case, and I think they'll probably fold a nine regardless of our sizing.
yeah,
If someone's got 9-8 suited, 10-9 suited. So
yep, yeah.
I think that actually makes me lean towards jamming with the queens, and then um
Not with the
and
aces because
yeah,
the aces need less denial.
yeah, the aces need less protection, and you kind of want someone to make the mistake of floating. If we check raise small, they call with king queen, thinking like, "Oh, I have a gutter to the nuts, gutter
Gutter
to
to
the
the
nutter,"
nutter. There you go.
and I have two overcards. Um, but really, like they're putting themselves in a sort of a reverse implied odds spot for hitting the pair,
Yep.
and yeah. So anyways, what are some hands that we would do this as a bluff with? Let's say now, I will say if it's the same action where there's a bet and two calls,
Mhm. I can think of one out of the gate, like a hand that I would play the same as queens here that's not a value hand.
Um, is it a big combo draw?
Um, it doesn't it's not it's a big draw, but it's not a combo. So something like ace five, something like the nut flush draw. Like say I had ace five of spades here.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would definitely check raise a hand like that as well.
Yeah, I would too. What's going through your head when you think about that?
About like the ace five, like why am I check raising ace
Yeah,
five?
like oppose, you are getting a great price to just see a turn card. So what would be the idea here for check raising opposed to check calling?
Um, First off is increasing my equity by getting some of those cold callers to out of the hand.
Yep.
Um, Secondly, to build implied odds in case I hit my flush,
Okay.
and then yeah, I don't know, just I have the nut flush draw here, and I have 50 bigs. Like I'm just not afraid to get that in for 50 bigs.
Totally. Yeah. And so the first one I definitely agree with. Like people could have a nine, people could have stuff they can fold. Um, Second point is the way I was going to phrase is like we could get value from, we could be ahead. The hands that
And
call us could
value,
have,
yeah.
we could
Worse
get,
flush draws,
you
straight
know,
draws.
the big blind could have king eight of spades here,
Yep.
and we're just getting value from that hand.
Yeah, he's not folding it. Yep.
A nine, like kind of the only hand.
What was my second point again?
It,
Now it's slipping me.
you phrased it kind of funny, like get building
Almost as
implied
funny as you
odds.
look.
Yeah, there we go.
Go ahead. Yeah, implied odds. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess it's sort of like your hand, our hand has, first off, it's value from worse flush draws. And second off, it's like we are, we have a ton of equity even against King Jack, right? We're
Yep.
almost flipping. If we're heads up
Yep.
against King Jack, we're almost flipping anyways.
Yep. Yep.
Which goes to your third point, which is we're, if someone three bet jams on us, we're happily calling this off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we have a decent equity hand, but then we have
Let,
to
let,
fold.
let me rephrase. I'm not happily calling it off, but I'm calling it off.
You're easily calling it off,
Yeah,
right?
easily calling it
Yeah,
off. Not happily, because I'm like, all right, well, let's run it. Like, here we go. Let's hit it. We have
yeah,
equity. Like, we never want those spots. Ideally, I'd rather just scoop it there with the nut flush draw.
of course, yeah. Um, and yeah, I think a hand like the nut flush draw or king 10, king 10 of spades, king queen of spades, queen 10 of spades, the combo, 10 8 of spades, like all these combo draws we can have. I'm
Hmm.
going to play those the same way where I'm just happy to, again, maybe not, I'm not going to do this hoping we get jammed on, but if we get jammed on, the decision is a very easy call.
We're the decision's made. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
what I might try to avoid is like if we have, let's say we have 6 7 of spades. I'm not going to be taking that route with 6 7 of spades, and I'm
No,
not gonna. And if we have like king 10, I'm going to, instead of
I was
check
curious what
raising.
you do with something with king 10,
Yeah, I am definitely
which is a gutter to the nutter.
gutter to the nutter, an overcard that may or may not be good. I'm just gonna call because if it's four blinds, so there's 12 blinds plus the roughly 10 blinds already in the pot.
Yeah,
Like we're getting 5.5 to 1 here to
you're
try
getting
and
great
turn the
odds.
nuts.
Yep.
If we turn the nuts, someone could easily have two pair. Someone could have the lower straight with like 10 8.
Yep.
Um,
This is where
there's a lot of,
we're just trying to cooler people with a hand like that.
we
Whereas a
are,
hand like the nut flush or an overpair, we're just well, I guess we're also trying to cooler them, but we're there already. Well,
yeah, with the
besides the
over,
yeah, with the overpair, not the nut
right.
flush, but
Yeah. Um, and yeah, and also I would say I would take the same route with a set or jack nine suited
yeah.
where we're just trying to get it all in now. And those ones obviously we're happily calling off if we get jammed on.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so
Is there any what let me ask you, what other bluffs would you have in this spot that you're opening and then check raising with? Can you
yeah,
think of any?
it's going to be the high equity ones. And so let's talk right after this. We'll talk about if it's only heads up when it gets back to us, because my answer might change a little then. Um, but the reality is when there's a bet and two calls, like when it's still 4 ways, I'm just not going to bluff that much. Like, my fold equity against the whole field is not very high, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't expect to raise and just get 3 folds very easily at all.
yep, yep, agreed.
And so I'm not going to.
You're not gonna run a dry bluff here. Or just an air
Right.
bluff, yeah, and because it's
Yeah.
suicide. So I like that you put it that way because that's exactly what I'm doing as well. If I have bluffs, they're gonna be high equity bluffs, nut flush draws, and important for the listeners to remember, you said, "What would you do with 6, 7 of spades?" You would not check raise that hand because it's not a nutted flush draw. You can't There's not gonna be worse flush draws you're getting value from. So,
Yeah.
um, so we're just gonna call with a hand like 6, 7 of spades, try and realize our equity, and then also still pot control with that hand. Like, we're still just not trying to get in 50 plus bigs with that, whereas the nut flush
Yeah.
draw, we can get value with that. And I think a lot of people don't understand that you can get value with flush draws.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, if you have ace 5 of spades and someone has 6, 7 of spades, like,
King
if
eight of
you
spades,
check
like you
raise
said. Yeah.
small, yeah, like, they
That's a value bet against
the
their specific hand. It
yeah,
can be.
you're gonna get some potentially better hands to fold, and the flush draws, which are worse showdown hands, like,
Yeah.
you get action from
It's
them.
it's a hybrid bet, I'd say. It's like, it's a value bet slash semi bluff.
Yeah, yeah, it can work both ways, and yeah, even with a hand like 7, 6 of spades here, if we check call and it's a spade turn and there's like a bet and another raise, like, we can still get away from it too. Cause like
Yeah.
when it's four-handed and everyone calls on the flop, like, there can be certainly other flush draws in there too.
I have to pause the poker talk for a minute, and I'm
Oh,
just now realizing I'm looking because you and I are here on a call right now. We're
yeah,
not
I saw
recording this
something
episode
go
until
across your face. What are you thinking about?
nothing crazy. No, is that a labyrinth over your left shoulder? Like one of those wood boards where you get the 2 knobs and you gotta get the ball through
Yeah,
all the hole. Dude,
it is.
that's pretty sweet. I love those things.
It's funny, in that specific one, I played a lot as a kid. It's actually from my grandparents'
That's
house.
what they're called, labyrinths, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
some reason, I lost a marble. I've lost my
Oh,
marbles.
you lost your marbles. Yeah, those things are sweet where, like, you get the 2 knobs and you gotta tilt the board to get the ball all the way to the end without it falling in the other holes.
Yeah.
I don't yeah. I feel like, the younger generation might not even know what that is. I haven't seen one for
No,
so long.
kids, they probably have some app for that.
Yeah, they just lean your phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
sure, for
like it.
sure.
I'm 30 now. I can talk about kids these days.
You're an old man now. Welcome to the club, Wes. I'm
Thank
happy to
you.
have you here. Happy to have you here. So, back on topic. Okay, so I like it. I think we've discussed a lot of the reasons why we would check raise and why we wouldn't check raise in a multi pot or in a multi-way pot
Yeah.
like such. And just, I guess the key takeaways are be aware that in multi-way spots, your equity is not going to be as big as you think it is, even if you have a value hand. So
Mhm.
be careful with your check raise spots. Make sure that, yeah, just make sure you play it well.
Make sure you play it well, yeah, and the last sort of thing that
And
we
be
can dive in.
careful.
Yes, totally, and the last thing we can dive into is, like, first, 2 things. First, let's say, what if it goes bet, call, call, what's our weakest value hand that we're gonna check raise opposed to check call? And I think we're both gonna have basically the same answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Probably
what's
call it.
yours? So if
What
we jack 9 3, 2
yeah.
spades, same action,
What
weakest
am I
value
calling?
hand, or
Weakest
yeah,
value hand that I'm check calling with and then check
yes,
raising with? The weakest hand that I'm check calling, man, this could be weird because 'cause I'm thinking
or
of some
sorry,
hands that
just like check raise. What's your weakest check raise for value? Like,
okay, that's a good one, and I had one that popped in my head right away, and I don't know if this is correct, but I think I like it. I think I like it, and so on jack 9, 3, 2 spades, I think
mhm.
the weakest value hand that I'm gonna check raise is ace jack.
Yeah, I was debating whether to say ace jack or king jack, but
Yeah. King
I
jack you could too because there are some queen jacks in there, but I think because if I have king jack, there could definitely be some ace jacks that didn't 3-bet pre-flop in there. Sometimes you end up value owning yourself.
mhm.
I don't know. I think ace jack is probably the weakest check raise in a multi-way spot. Heads up, it's a different story.
Right. Yeah, and so I basically exact same answer. I think in the main point that I wanted to convey for the listeners is, like, if you get in here with Jack 8 suited, Jack 10 suited, you're not really like when you check raise, suddenly like what weaker jacks are what are you hoping is going to happen? Like
Yeah.
people can easily have a stronger made hand here,
Y- yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're not really, even though you might be trying to simplify decisions by getting a couple hands out. It's like if you get called and the turn's a blank, what's your plan here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think ace jack, it's the for sure a hand where no one's gonna have an overpair here except you.
Yeah.
So like, and we already know that it's gonna be hard to have two pair here for your opponent. So like ace jack is gonna be good a lot of the time still.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Let me elaborate as well. So what Wes means is like with ace jack here on the jack nine three two spades, we're getting value from all worst jacks as well as all the draws. Whereas if you have say jack eights or jack 10 suited here and you opened, um, you're going to value own yourself a lot to better jacks, and you're only getting value from the draws at that point. So
yeah,
so it's
because
what you're getting value and what you're not getting value from.
yep, and we kind of talked about a nine is gonna fold to this action anyways, most
Yeah.
likely, and so you're
So what
not
you're not even get
really
value from that.
accomplished.
And then
Yeah.
like you said too, like say you check raise a jack 8 or a jack 10 here, and then the turn comes, even if it's a banana, like a deuce, uh uh do you still plan on just barreling with top pair medium kicker for this deep? You just don't want to get you don't want to play for all your chips with a hand like that. Whereas ace jack, I don't mind just putting it all in because again, people can have worse value hands that I just have dominated equity wise.
Absolutely, and I think, yeah.
Are are
No,
you
that's
thinking?
well said. Yeah,
Okay.
that's well said.
Alright.
Um, Now the last thing is let's talk about, let's say the cutoff bets, but both the button and big blind fold. So now what would you say? Like, would you check raise king jack and queen jack for value? Would you check raise some like king 10 as a bluff? Um,
Say the prerequisite again or the action again. So say I check, someone bets, and then it's back to me with no one calling.
yep,
Is that what you're
cutoff
saying?
bets, and then the other two
It
players fold.
it folds back to me. What am I now check raising?
Yeah, so now if you're gonna bluff, you only have to get through one person, and for your value, like you're only worried about one value hand. They are going to probably call you a little wider because they know you're a little more likely to bluff them now.
I
Um,
so for me personally, first off, it depends on my opponent type. If I think they're going to be calling extra light, or if I think they're good or not. Like if I don't think they're good and they're just going to start calling with like a nine here,
mhm,
I'll and this is me paying attention to what showdowns they've had before this, right? So if I think it's someone who's going to just not fold,
mhm,
I'm just going to start check raising my jack queens, jack kings, and jack aces. I probably won't have worse than that. Maybe jack 10,
mhm,
it would probably be of the suited type. I'd probably fold jack 10 off. And I might just call there. Again,
yeah,
I don't want to value own myself. That's my concern. But yeah, I think it doesn't change too much, just a few pips each way.
yeah.
So I still might check raise. I guess in terms of like my semi bluffs that I would check raise might change a little bit. I don't know. Do we check raise the 6, 7 of spades now? Probably not. But I'm
I, you
maybe.
know, yeah. Here's one thing, and this is also, you're gonna want to get a read on your opponent and their tendencies in this case, because one thing that some players will do, which is it's not a good play here, but when you check, they might have pocket fives here, right? And they're like, oh, well, he has ace king or ace queen. So I want to protect my hand and hopefully I can get through these other two here. Now there's a decent chance my fives are good. And they'll kind of trick themselves into betting for protection even when they still have three opponents.
Yep. Yep.
So if you think you have the type of opponent who might sometimes take a stab with a small pair here, I'm for sure check raising like some other flush draws. I'm check raising like the 10-8 suit, king 10, and just trying to fold that stuff out.
I like that.
Um,
I like well said about. I mean, it's really opponent dependent in that spot.
yeah, I would say um against an opponent. Here's what I would say is against an opponent who's very good and correctly value betting 4 ways, that means they're gonna have a pretty snug value range here. I will probably not check raise bluff that much more, um, because they won't be betting the 9x and stuff, but yeah, it's like, do I think they're gonna bet a 9 here? Do I think they'll bet an under pair? If
And
they
if the
bet
answer
an
is yes, then I'm gonna open my check raisings. I'm gonna widen my check raising range for sure.
Yeah, and if they have a 9, do I think they're gonna call or fold to the check raise too?
Yeah, it's another
If they're
question.
gonna call, that means we should open up the value, to yeah, like the queen jack, maybe down into jack 10, maybe not, maybe just queen jack.
I feel like we're on
Um,
the same line there.
yep, and then if they're gonna bet fold a 9, then yeah, I would if I thought they were gonna bet a 9 and then fold to a raise, I would check raise like any draw.
Okay. I like how you really made it clear on how to open your range up when it comes to heads up versus multi-way. So in the multi-way scenarios, you were saying like king 10, which is a gutter to the nutter. I just love saying that.
Mhm,
Um, uh, you're just gonna call there, try realize equity, and then cooler someone's face off, right?
mhm.
Um, uh, whereas if it played out the same way, but then those two players fold and now your heads up to the guy so you check and your heads up now essentially. King 10 now becomes a raise if you think that they're um betting a 9 or worse or something like that. That was not well articulated, but I hope you're catching my drift. So like
No, I did,
essentially
yeah.
yeah, the difference is that you're going to be opening up your range, your bluffing range quite a bit more when it's heads up versus multi-way just because there's not as much bullshit you have to get through.
They're correct, yeah. Um, yeah, so that we could go through a lot of different examples and, um,
I mean, literally
it'll
endless. We could literally have this discussion for 5 straight days and not even
we
touch the surface.
yeah, we have one hand here as an example, and I think the main things to take away are, when you're playing a multi-way pot where you have callers both in position and out of position against you, um, realize that you're gonna wanna check a lot more hands. You're gonna wanna see bet bluff a lot less, and so therefore, to play well and to balance it, you should see bet for value less too, and instead go for a check raise in some of these situations,
I like it.
and
Yeah, it's creative, and I think a route a lot of people wouldn't end up taking. A lot of people are just like, "I got value here. I need to defend my equity. Let's see bet."
yep.
Whereas oftentimes you're going to so when you see bet, you just get 3 callers, and all of a sudden you're to a turn, and all of a sudden it's a dangerous turn, and you end up getting screwed. So not only does checking allow you to check raise, it gets less. It helps build your equity when you get other people out of the pot because it's a check raise.
Yeah, and by check raising, you use more like leverage than just one bet,
There you
Sometimes you
go.
can get
Well
the
said.
one call from a medium hand, but then you're raising before they even get to see that turn card, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so, remember that in a multi-way pot, your hand strength goes down in a relative sense where, you know, if you have king nine on this jack nine three board, if you have king nine suited, you are going to play it a lot more cautiously and you're going to be a lot less it's a lot less likely that you'll be ahead right now than if it was just heads up. And
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
make sure to adjust your how you view your hand strength, but also yeah, think about what you'd want to do with a lot of the hands that you would get here with, like, the ace x hands that you just want to give up with now, and realize that yeah, people might if people um if it's not, obvious that you have a value hand, they might take a stab with a weaker hand and then you get to
Yep.
either get real value or
Deny
they don't get to
equity.
see a turn card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say, don't we gave one suggestion or one scenario where like we have queens here, right? But we talked about hands we would do, king tens and aces and things like that and how we would play them differently. The point here is not just you can take the thoughts from this one hand and apply them to all multi-way scenarios where you opened, right? So just these are the thoughts that are going through our head when we are in a multi-way pot and we have either value or bluff, right? And I mean, there's also a plethora of hands where we're just going to end up check folding. So But use these thoughts to really help you dial in whether you should check raise and why you should check raise or not, or call, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Wes, we got a big week next week.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell the people what's happening?
So
They
we
probably already
got
know,
the
but we'll tell them
we got
anyway.
the WPT Prime in Vegas, 1100. I think last year, am I making this up or was first place like 1.2 million?
It was around there. It was 1 point X million
Yeah.
dollars for $1,100 buy. It's a $5 or $4 million guarantee. Four,
I
five
think
million.
5 and I think it hit 10 million last year. I don't know. It's a
That's
by far the biggest 1100 in the world. It has to be.
yep.
Um and they're 4 day one flights. We both were actually staying in separate places, but we both booked the same flight or
I gotta look at that mug all the way there. Damn it.
I know, it's a disaster.
That's funny. I didn't even know that. Wes and I got on the recording today, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving Monday at 2 o'clock." And he's like, "I'm leaving Monday at 2 o'clock." Oh, we're on the same
Yeah,
flight.
it's
Great.
just the flight that makes sense, you know. So then we're both gonna, I assume, play Tuesday and then Wednesday if need be.
Hopefully,
Um,
just Tuesday. Yeah, and hopefully Wednesday we can just go get a bomb dinner because Vegas has all the good restaurants.
it does, yeah.
Let's do that, Wes. Let's bag
Let's do that.
Tuesday.
I did bag on one bullet last year.
I didn't play it last year, so this will be my first time. I'm excited. I wasn't there
Yeah,
last year at this time because we had the
yeah, it's
MSPT at Running Aces last year during this time. So I'm like, I can stay home and play the MSPT 1100 500K guarantee. MSPT is going to Ohio or something for their winter tournament because Running Aces is having some construction done. So
yeah. I didn't e Ohio doesn't even seem like a real place, but
I I don't even know if that. I think it's Ohio. I'm
I
not
think it's
100%.
made up. That's
Just
I
like
have been
Australia. And just like the Earth being round.
oh, god, those round earthers are just something else.
They're wild, man. I don't even know how they would ever think that that's a thing. Like, you see a picture from NASA and you think they're like, what, you believe NASA? Come on.
Come on, man.
You believe all the smartest scientists on Earth? Come on, man. Oh, man, I'm gonna get some
Unbelievable.
pushback for this.
Yeah, we're gonna start some shit here.
I love it.
Oh, man.
Well,
Um,
Wes, we're getting near time, even though we really don't have a time. I'm getting hungry, is what the timeline is.
totally.
Um, Clubs Poker has a 55 sweeps coin nightly that's coming out. I heard through the grapevine. So that's going to be happening every night. I think at 7 p.m. start Central Time, and we're actually giving away 2 tickets for that.
Yep. Yeah, 7 PM Central. It's gonna be 50, I think right now it's a 2,500 guarantee, but I'm sure
That'll
as
increase as they
the
get a
player
bigger play
field
base. Yeah.
increases, that'll increase. We're hoping they continue to add these tournaments because I know a lot of our listeners are more of tournament players
And they
and
like the the bigger, medium to bigger buy-in range, where 55 kind of starts that range.
yeah,
So
55 to maybe 218 or
18, yeah,
215.
yeah.
Hopefully they're a 215 and not a 218. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um
I agree with you. Yeah,
but
we have 2 tickets to give away to that.
we do have 2 tickets to give away. And we're gonna auction them. So we plan for someone to pay $54.99. Just kidding.
Venmo or cash? He's not kidding.
Yeah, preferably not cash.
We'll just sell. Yeah, man, just like a poker player to be shady, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding. So, uh, well, also like a poker player to bluff because that's not what we're doing. So, what
Mhm.
we are doing though is on Twitter, we are giving away the tickets via Twitter. We made a post. You can now find it. It's live as we're recording this. I'll leave it up through next weekend, and then we'll give away the tickets maybe Monday or something next week,
Mhm.
something like that. But if you go on Twitter at Suited Kings Pod, all you got to do is like the post and share the post, and then we're going to do RNG or random number generation to choose two of the people who've shared that post and liked it to give those 55 sweeps coin tickets away to, so you can go and maybe just try and win that tournament for nothing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
get in there, like and share a post. Yeah. So, and then as for our next meetup game, typically it would be next week.
That's a good point too. We as we had just talked about, we'll both be in Vegas. We'll be playing the day one. Also, uh Clubs Poker for whatever reason is not available to play in Nevada. So
Yeah. Yeah.
even
So
if we
don't play.
wanted
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah,
So
we
point
cannot.
being is we won't have our meetup game
Well said.
next
Well
week.
said. That's what I
Yeah.
was trying to spit out that entire time. So no meetup game next week. We'll let you know. I believe that we either will skip until another 2 weeks from then, or have one the following weekend. That's undecided. We will get back to you guys via socials on what happens there. But we've had a couple of new champs over the past week.
Oh, we gotta talk about this too.
Oh yeah,
I
let's hear it.
the last meetup game I was, I cashed for I think it's 5 out of 6 now,
Yep.
and I was a 3-1 chip leader heads up, and I lose what was it? Ace queen versus king nine, and then ace queen versus king queen. Or I think it was ace jack versus king nine, and then ace queen versus king queen. And so congratulations to Randy Jacks. Man, I will say, and it's funny too, because I remember that was when I was in Florida. I played a few tournaments, and it was the second of 3 straight nights I final tabled the Blitz. And man, this one, obviously the meetup game is a little lower stakes, but man, I was just like
It hurt.
dead inside when I didn't win that
Well, I
because
think because you want to catch up to me, Wes. That's why.
yeah,
I the
and now
three-time champ versus a
I'm a
zero-time
3-time
champ.
second place finisher now, and it's
One day, I'm gonna put out a course on closing the deal, and
oh
if you want to pay me for that,
no.
I'll teach you, Wes.
Oh
Just run
god.
better. That's the whole
Yeah.
course. Run better. Run
Yeah.
better than the opponent your head's up against. So yeah, meetup game is off next week, but we'll have another one. Congrats to Randy Jacks who got that awesome Discord tag, plus all that sweet sweeps coins that he won for that. And yeah, look forward to the next one. I want to become a 4-time champion, definitely. So we'll get in there and do that. Discord, guys. If you're not in the Discord, as usual, go ahead and join in there. Please, we got the links to get in there in all of the descriptions and all that. I'm losing my track here. My mental
Yeah.
capacity. I'm
You
withering.
look
I'm
like you're
hungry.
losing your mind,
Yeah.
Max.
And rounding 38 here, so I kind of have dementia or something at this point.
Yeah, you got about a month and you turn 38.
A little less than a month and I'll be 38. Yep. So anyways, um make sure to join the Discord. It's been popping off, and if you're having trouble getting access, say you join the Discord and you're having trouble getting access to the Discord, don't worry. I go in there and double check and make sure everybody's become a member and has full access to everything after a day or two. So double check back. I've noticed some people get in there and not exactly sure how to access the content. Um, yeah, don't worry. I'll manually make you a member and you'll have access shortly. So make sure to get in there and do that. Wes, what else am I missing? YouTube channel. That's what it
YouTube
is.
channel.
Yep.
Um,
Description and links in the description rather. Make sure to check out our YouTube. Subscribe to that. We want more subscribers. We got 4 videos on there now. It's a great place to learn and study your game up. We have some great content already in there. What else, Wes?
um, well, we talked about clubs poker. Sign up using the link in the description.
Yeah,
One thing I
support the
realized
podcast.
I did want to say about that cheap and deep tournament you'd mentioned.
Yeah.
Congrats to Joe Larson for winning it.
Oh, J Lars. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We love to give shout outs to our community. Joe Larson is an absolute crusher. One of the young MN studs. There's a bunch of them now, but he came in and he slapped him around in the cheap and deep for what 27K or something around there.
Yeah, right around there.
Congrats to you. Congrats to you,
$300
man.
buy-in, so it's a very solid ROI there.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Love to see the guys who put the time and effort in get the results that they've worked hard for. So J Lars, you're one of them. I see you in the online streets regularly. We're battling constantly. Congrats to you for that, man.
yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. I'm gonna go stuff my face with some Chipotle. Got bowling league tonight for all you bowlers out there.
There we
Um,
go.
you want to play? You want to bowl for rolls? Let's go.
I we've never bowled together. I mean, you've told me you're definitely much better than me, but I do really enjoy bowling. And
Well, let's get it. Maybe, dude. Let's get out there and fire it up sometime. If you want to gamble, I'll give you a little handicap. So
yeah, yeah.
that sounds
I was in a bowling league once, and we actually crushed it because we didn't crush it the first week. So we had a good handicap.
yeah.
So most teams were better than us, but we were like most improved. So we ended up winning every week because we just beat our handicap by more.
You know what we call that?
Huh.
Sandbagging.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a sandbagger.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. My
It,
golf
it
game.
it was
sandbagging.
unintentional, but it did kinda turn out that way. So,
In golf, so I'm an 18 handicap in golf, which is not great. I shoot like low to mid 90s a lot. It's my so this was my second full year of being a golfer. I finally am getting some golf lessons during the winter, and then hitting up the simulator to practice a lot. I think I'm gonna be like a 12 come spring. So if anyone wants to bet, it's like a free 6 strokes.
yeah. There we
Uh,
go.
anyways, yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. We're gonna be gone next week because we'll be in Vegas doing the WPT Prime. So sorry, there will not be an episode next week. The following week, we will have lots of good hands to go over from WPT Prime. It's going to be a good time. Um, let's just bink a milli.
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe
That
that'll
makes
take
it
me out of this little cold, or what's the word I'm looking for?
funk.
This funk I'm in. Yeah, then we'll call it a
Yeah.
funk. That sounds good. So, we'll be back after WPT Prime with a new episode of the Sioux Kings podcast. Hope you guys have a great week and hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Wes, um, go slap him around tonight. All right.
Oh, you too, Max. You
All
too.
right. All right, guys. Until next time.